Hello, this is Benjamin with ARI, your website company. And today this video will be a full walkthrough on the CMS editor, specifically directed at medical dealers. We'll go ahead and get started with the basics. By now you should have been provided your login information to get into the CMS editor. If you have, great. If not, you'll want to contact your implementation specialist that you've been working with during site setup to make sure you get an account set up for yourself, as well as any other employees that you would like to have access to this powerful tool. The first place we'll start today is by opening your new site in a brand new tab of your browser so you can keep track of changes you make here in the editor on your site as you go along. The easiest way to do this is to go down to a box labeled Sites, click on Domains, and then from the long list of addresses that will be available on the next page, the only one that we're looking to open is the one marked ARI Build in the center of the address. We'll right-click and choose to open that up in a brand new tab. And as soon as that site loads, we have your new site. Wonderful. The first thing that we'll do is, as if we are a customer, we'll click into Browse Products to see what you have available. Okay, when working with products on your site, we're going to break this down into 3 easy to understand and follow tiers. Tier number 1 will be deciding which major manufacturers you want to have listed on your website. Tier number 2 is if you would like to set any special pricing for items on your site or set a special sale on an item or group of items. How to do that? That will be in Tier 2. Tier 3 is if there is a particular item or series of items on the site that you don't carry in store that you'd also like to temporarily eliminate off the site. That will be in Tier 3. Starting off with Tier 1, we'll jump back to our editor. In our left-hand menu, we'll hover over Store and click into our first option, Catalogs. Once your catalog manager pulls up, the first tab you'll see every single time by default is Active. Here you have a list of your major manufacturers being shown on the site, and then next to each one you have your enabled number. Essentially what this means is, if we click on Drive Medical for instance, it drops down. As long as this 2018 is highlighted in blue and checked, it means that the entire 2018 lineup of Drive Medical products is currently listed on your site. Now what you will want to do when first landing here is make sure the brands that you have here are exactly what you would carry in store. And second, make sure that the newest year's information is in fact enabled underneath each one. After you have done that and gone through that process and verified those two things, if you happen to notice a manufacturer is missing, you can always go from active to available to add on an additional manufacturer. For today's example, we'll go ahead and add on Rojo. Save changes. Then once that save has gone through, you'll click back to active. Your new brand will be listed here in alphabetical order, but unlike the rest, at first it says 0 enabled. So then we will click on that new brand, select the newest product catalog we have available from Rojo, which just happens to be the 2017 lineup, save changes, and then to push this new brand over to our site, we'll go up to My Name in the upper right hand corner, which will be your name. Click there and run the Publish Changes function. And now that we see that success stamp has appeared, it means that that new brand is in fact listed over on your site. Awesome. Now let's say that you don't carry Rojo and you accidentally added it and you want to take that brand right back off. You certainly can. Click from Active over to Available, uncheck Rojo. You'll notice that it turns red, and if we look at our handy dandy color key up top, you can see that that means it will be removed. Save changes. And it asks you, are you sure you want to get rid of this catalog? Yes, I do. Remove catalogs. Awesome. We'll jump back to active just to verify that it is in fact gone. And when we scroll down to the R section, we can see that Rojo is no longer listed. Excellent. Next thing we'll jump into is Tier 2 and start working with some of those pricing changes that we talked about. To get into where we control those prices, we'll go in the left-hand menu, we'll hover over Products, and click on the very first option underneath Products, Product Manager. Once your Product Manager appears, your first click every single time will be Catalog E-commerce. This again will pull up all of your major manufacturers you currently have listed on the site. For instance, if we wanted to pull up a list of every product underneath ResMed currently displaying on the site, put a check in the checkbox next to the ResMed brand and hit search. And it would deliver an itemized list of every single product in that catalog. However, if you're looking for one specific product in the catalog, that can be a lot of work digging through all those results to find what you're looking for. So to narrow down our results a bit further, click on the blue arrow next to the brand, and eventually it will break down into the known categories for that brand. We'll click on bed and bed-related products to see if there's anything under ResMed for that category. Search. 0 results. Well, that's slightly embarrassing. Let's try that again, shall we? We'll jump back, new search, and this time we'll just choose to pull up the entire brand of items. 118 results. Awesome. First things first, let's say you want to apply the same changes to all 118 products in this list. You certainly can. Click on the top checkbox next to product name, and whatever change you make, it will be applied to all 118 results listed on this page currently. Instead, if you'd like to apply a change to 1, 2, or a group of products, go through and select those specific products. For today, we'll go with this Air 10 faceplate that we have as an example, and click on Edit Selected Product Options. Alright, now let's see what options are available for changing the details of this product. First, set store list price. If you're not happy with the price that is displayed in the store price column next to that item, you can change it by clicking on store list price. Next, it'll ask you to choose your pricing method. Purely in my opinion, there's entirely too many methods by which to change your price, and the 3 that I see used most for my medical dealers are the following: percentage off MSRP, fixed dollar value, which simply allows you to type in your own dollar amount, and then for any item in which you do not want to display a price for, you can always select call for price. Pricing adjustment value will be the dollar or percentage by which you are changing the store price on that Air 10 faceplate. And then overwrite and save. And immediately upon saving, that new adjusted price will appear in that store price column. And if you decide, yep, that is in fact the change that I wanted to make, that looks accurate, let's push it to the site, then you'd be able to continue, click on your name, and run that Publish Changes function to push that new adjusted price over to the site. Now let's say you get in here and you do change the price on this item, and you suddenly decide, ugh, that wasn't the best idea. Can I just set it back to the initial MSRP that we started with? Absolutely. Remove list price, yes, and save, no matter if you have changed the store price or set this item on a special sale, you'll see it revert back to the original MSRP that will be in this column. Add to sale. Sure, why not? And since we're brand new kids to this grand adventure, new sale. First, we'll have to select a sale type. No surprise here, these are the exact same options we had as set store list price. For today, I'll use the single most commonly used type of sale, no matter what type of dealer I'm speaking to, dollar off store price. Now the Air 10 faceplate, if I can remember correctly, is about a $110 item. Not exactly sure. But for today, we'll say that we're going to take $56 off the price of that item. So 56.00, signifying that it is dollars. We'll go down to our start date and click in the blank. It will give us a calendar to choose off of. We'll have this fictitious sale start today. And because this is such a significant discount, we'll choose to have it end in 3 days on the 13th. Sales description. Please, please, please be careful what you type in here, because what you type in here will be displayed in large, bold, red, bulleted print above the product details on every single product you've got selected for this sale to apply to. Then overwrite and save, and again, as when we are putting in the store list price, you would see that new adjusted price appear in that sales price column. And if you decide that you do in fact like it and it looks correct, you can then go up, click on your name, and run that publish changes to push it through to the site. Excellent. Remove from sale, our next function, is pretty self-explanatory, given what we just went over. And then, not sugarcoating it whatsoever or using any flowery language, the last two functions we have in the list are the most two used functions by my medical dealers. Let's say that you don't even carry this Air 10 faceplate in store, and you also don't want to have it listed on your online site because you can't get it. So why would you want to confuse your customers? Makes perfect sense. So to get rid of it, we'll go and click on Exclude Selected Product Options, Yes. And if we were to hit save at this point, you would get two changes. First, the obvious one, it would go over and remove that Air 10 faceplate off of the site. Second, here in the editor, the not so obvious one, it would take your excluded status and move it from an all capital no, meaning the item is on the site, to an all capital yes, meaning that it is only here in the editor. Bringing that point up, at a very quick glance, looking it through a list of products, that is how you'll be able to tell very quickly if the item is on the site or not. And then in the future, should you want to add that item back onto the site, enable, yes, and save. Awesome. We'll click back out of here, back to our dashboard. The next area we'll jump into is we'll go into Store and down to our last selection of Locations. Underneath Locations, there are 3 tabs that you'll want to check for possible inaccuracies that could have been made during the site build process. Those 3 tabs are Details, Sales and Lead Management, and Storebrand. First, in Details, this is going to be your physical address as well as general contact information down below. After you've gone through and checked for any possible typos, you can always feel free to add in things like a toll-free fax or a regular toll-free phone number or whatever fields are also missing here if you want to provide them for your customers on your site. Next is the highly important tab of Sales and Lead Management. Over to the left, it lists out every single form that your customer can fill out on your site. The person in the primary email address of each will be the first one to receive an email when that form is filled out on the site. Anyone else beyond the administrator that you also want to be informed, stick in as many extra emails as you like down in the carbon copy form. And as long as you stick with our example of how to format those addresses, everything will work just as intended. Storebrand. This will only apply to stores that have multiple locations and have multiple locations turned on for their site. In other words, you are able to see the address and basic contact information for multiple stores in the footer of your site. If that's the case and you would like to add a storefront photo for the bottom information in the footer, you can click on Upload right here to upload a small storefront image that will be displayed on the footer of your site. Next, we'll go into Site and Pages. This will be if you want to make simple changes like the paragraph that you have here listed on your homepage. If you'd like to change this text, we'll jump back to our editor. Just as a quick reminder for everybody today, I went into Site and Pages, and it presents you with a page list. This is a list of every page on your site that currently has a paragraph on it. Very logically, since we want to modify the home page, we'll click on Home. Then it brings you to Page Detail, Home. Here you're looking for what's called the primary text asset. That's this large gray box that we see up top. We'll again find the name Home, and then go over to the far right side of the screen and click on the small gray button, Edit. Within this simplistic editor, you can do things like change your text, change any hyperlinks that you've got here, pictures, insert YouTube videos, and a brand new feature which you may or may not want to use added on recently. You can now add your own emoticons within your text if you so choose. Next, we'll go into Site and down to Offers. This will be for changing the large advertising slides that you have either at the top or near the top of your site. These are meant for advertising major manufacturers that you have partnerships with, popular types of equipment for sale, and of course any other sales events that are going on in the store, or any events that you will be participating in within the community. We'll go ahead and jump back to our editor. First, let's start with the really easy stuff. Let's say you just want to rearrange the order in which these slides display. Sure. Click, drag, and drop. And that order will be changed. If you want to delete one of these slides, uncheck the box next to the slide's title. It will temporarily turn red. But for some strange reason, when they built this editor, on this page, they did not include a green Save button at the top or bottom of the content. So to ensure that this slide actually deletes itself, you'll go up, click on your name, and run that Publish Changes to ensure that it deletes. Now, a typical mistake that I'll see from overexcited individuals getting in here for the first time, they'll get in here and they'll accidentally delete the wrong slide. Oops, how do I get it back? Sure. Click from Offer Queue over to Archive. Underneath Archive, you'll see a long list of red slides. You'll simply scroll down until you see the title that you want to add back in, and recheck the box next to that title, and it will be added back in the original order that it was. We have two different types of offers you can throw in here. We'll go through them now. First is pre-designed offers. The two best areas to go within this pre-designed offer library is either offer groups or search. Here's why. Underneath offer groups, it's organized like this. First, alphabetically by manufacturer, then alphabetically by type of equipment, and then finally we have things like holiday ads, and things like internal promotions like come in and use our free Wi-Fi. Come in and check out our large selection of orthopedic shoes. We provide rentals. We provide respiratory therapy for individuals that ask. Or we're having an open house soon. Come on in and meet the team. Things of this nature. Now let's say that you were going through a hiring process at your store and you wanted to advertise that to the general public. You can click on the Now Hiring, which it says we have 2 offers available. And if we wanted to add in either one of these nice professional looking slides, you can click on Add to Offer Queue. Now just as a heads up when you go to do this so it doesn't take you by surprise, for any of these offer slides that you add in, at first, by default, it is going to add them as the bottom slide in the order. But as I stated at the beginning of this, you can click and drag to get these in the exact order that you want. Now with this offer groups area, if you're looking at the sheer volume of slides that are here and go, I don't have time to search through that, or if you're already searching through it and you simply can't find what you're looking for, your second option is always to go down to Search. This is a basic keyword search that'll go through every slide we have in our library currently, and in most cases drag up exactly what you're looking for. We'll jump back out of here. Next, we'll go into Custom Offer. And yes, it's exactly how it sounds. This is a tool that you can use to design your very own fully custom slide. Custom Offer. First, you'll assign a title. This is no different than when you type up a Word document on your computer, and before saving it, it asks you to assign a title to it. Sure, this title never actually displays on the site. It only uses this title to save the completed slide here to the editor. Banner link. This is when someone clicks on your completed slide on the site, where it is going to direct them to on your site. For today, let's say that you wanted this slide to lead over to the Contact Us page, so your customer could inquire about more information. Sure. So you would jump back over to your website. You would go to your Contact Us page. And once you reach your Contact Us page, you'll go up to the address bar, highlight your entire address, right-click to copy, go back to your editor, and paste that address in where you see the banner link field. And now when someone clicks on this completed banner, they'll be able to get right over to your Contact Us page and send you an email. Timeline. You can either have this slide run indefinitely or simply select your own start and end date now or anytime in the future. Banner image. This is where it gets tricky for some. You'll open up your image that you want to use in some type of rudimentary image editor on your computer. You'll size that image to 1920 by 620. That is the length and then height in the measurement of pixels. Once you get your image sized and ready to go, you'll go down to Choose Image. Once your file browser appears, you'll go to Upload, select Files, and we'll go ahead and grab a slide that I have pre-prepared for another dealer that I worked with. We'll go ahead and grab this Lamborghini slide that we have here and open. Oh, it says the file already exists. Well, whatever. And essentially what would happen is you would wait for this status bar to get a full green status bar, and this little percentage area that you see right here to grow to 100%. Then once that happened, you would jump back to Browse, click on that new image you just uploaded, and choose Selected Images. And immediately, if it is formatted correctly, you'll be able to see a preview of that image in the banner image area. If it's not formatted correctly, you'll see a giant red error appear here and in the upper right hand corner of your screen, and you'll have to go back and reformat it. Now for those of you that have access to nice image editing software like Photoshop, Good for you. But for anyone that does not have access to such expensive and nice software, a free alternative that I can recommend freely is Pixlr. That's spelled Pixlr. So the website would be www.pixlr.com. Here's why I recommend Pixlr. Number 1, it's free. Number 2, you don't have to download anything. You use it right in your browser. And number 3, it has all the necessary tools that you would need to create a slide like this. The reason I know is I actually created this Automobile Lamborghini slide using Pixlr. And then, as with any other slide, you would click on Save Offer and it would add it to the bottom of the order. Next, we'll go into Leads and Leads. Once your site has gone live and your customers start to fill out those leads that I showed you earlier on your site, if there's any confusion as far as, oh, I told the system that Jimmy would be receiving all of the Contact Us forms. Why is he not receiving the Contact Us forms notifications immediate like he's supposed to? Well, if something were to happen like that, you have this lead section as an emergency backup. Here you'll be able to see all of the leads being submitted on the site. You'll be able to view them and respond directly from this section of the editor should you need to. We'll go ahead and jump back to our dashboard. Alright, the next piece is only for those medical sites that actually do want to offer products on the site and actually have people have the ability to add them to cart and check out. So if you are one of those individuals that is going to offer full e-commerce functionality, go ahead and stick with us. If you are only going to have an informational site, you've got all of your necessary things that you need to know for now, and you can always seek out further training later. Continuing on for those folks that are running a full e-commerce medical site. We'll jump into configuration, and the first place we'll enter today underneath configuration is payment methods. This is setting up the formal third party that will be actually processing your debit or credit card purchases on your site. Now we have about 5 different methods in which you can enable outside of the editor, such as SecureNet and AuthorizeNet, just to name a few of the 6 or more that we have available that we work with. However, a fast option to quickly enable the site to actually start receiving orders is if you have a professional business PayPal account, you can actually link that to this site and have people start using it as a way of checkout. To do this, underneath the PayPal proven to increase sales paragraph, you'll click on Settings. You'll then switch over from email address to receive PayPal payment over to API credentials. Then you'll open up a brand new tab of your browser. You'll log into that PayPal Business or PayPal Professional, and within your account settings you'll see either View Credentials or Get Credentials depending on your type of business account. Once you have clicked into that area, they'll ask you to prove who you are, who you say you are, and at the end of the process they'll give you these 3 credentials. Simply copy and paste them into the correct order here. Once you've got them copied and pasted into the correct places, click Verify. If all 3 of those credentials are correct, it will display a Payment Gateway Successfully Verified green post-it note in this corner, and you're done. If not, it'll tell you which one that you made a mistake in, and you can go back and rectify that mistake. Then for actually processing the payments, you have 2 different options. Automatic advantages. When someone finishes checkout on the site and clicks to purchase that item, it automatically at that point gathers the funds from that person's card and places into the account that you have set up. Disadvantages. If you get Joe Schmo down the street that meant to order 3 replacement oxygen tubes and accidentally ordered 2, if he contacts you and says, "Hey, can you modify my order before sending it out?" you'll have to say, "Sorry, Joe." You'll have to complete a second order to get that 3rd oxygen tube that you were looking for. Manual. Advantages. In the case of Joe Schmo down the street, you'd be able to correct the order for 3 oxygen replacement tubes, modify the price, tax, and shipping necessary, send him a digital invoice through his email, and as soon as you got confirmation that that was in fact what he was looking for, you could go through and process that order. Disadvantages. Yes, you'll either have to collect payment and process the order here in the CMS editor or in your PayPal portal that you have. Next, we'll go into configuration and we'll go into delivery methods and rates. Once we get into delivery methods and rates, you'll first choose the shippers that you want to use. I'll go through today and choose the single most used, USPS. Once you have your multiple shippers chosen, you'll go down to Edit Shipping Rates. At this point, it'll say, okay, which one of your shippers do you want to put in shipping rates for? We'll go ahead and select USPS. Now, from USPS, which delivery method would you like to use? We'll select to activate the most commonly used, parcel post, and click on Edit to begin putting in rates. Alright, so we use a simple method of flat rate shipping for all of our orders in our system. To give a better definition of what that means, let's go through a quick example, shall we? In limit, we'll type in $25, and in rate, we'll type in $9. Now when we hit add rate, you can see any order placed on the site with a total amount between 1 cent and $25 would have $9 shipping rate applied to the order. Your next high order amount or limit might be 50, and that might go up to $13.85 or 14 bucks. Now at a certain point, you're probably thinking somewhere along the lines of, you know what, Ben, if they're going to spend $300 on my site, I would like to throw the customer a bone and after that point, offer them free shipping. How would I go about doing that? Sure. Instead of order amount range, click on the drop down and shift it over to orders over set limits. You would then type in your rate of 0 and hit add rate. Now because the last high order amount we entered was $25, it is saying anything $25.01 through absolute most expensive part you have on your site is now $0 in shipping. Next, we'll go back into configuration and we'll go into our last section, regional and city taxes. Great. So we're in the state of Minnesota for this particular dealer. The last time our system checked to see what the tax rate was, it was at 6.875. The actual tax rate that customers will be charged if they order within the state boundaries of Minnesota online will be whatever is featured in the effective tax rate here. Now, if you are 100% sure that this is correct, then good. You don't have to do anything on this page. You can skip away merrily off into the woods or the flowers, whichever you prefer. If you have any doubts whatsoever that this is incorrect, the terminology that you'll type into a Google search is combined sales tax rate, the name of your state, then the name of your city. Hit enter on your keyboard. The very first result that displays will be what you either type in or copy and paste into the effective tax rate field. Add tax exemptions. Well, I don't know how it is for other states, but up until recently in Minnesota, if you bought clothing online, clothing was tax exempt. They only recently changed that. But if you have other items on your site that you know are tax exempt, even if they order it within your state, click on Add Tax Exemptions. Once this list appears, you can see all the same categories of products as they are displayed on your site. So let's say, using our example of clothing, it is tax exempt in your state. Cool. You would go through each one of these categories, find anything that is even roughly clothing related, and check it off. And if any item is checked off in this list, when someone adds it to their cart and gets to checkout, that item will in fact be tax exempt. We'll jump back to our dashboard. Alright, that includes our basic walkthrough for medical dealers in using the CMS editor for their new responsive website. I'd like to thank you for your time today, and until I talk to you again, have a great rest of your day.